There are moments in a client relationship when one meeting starts to feel bigger than the meeting itself. Divorce is one of those moments. The client may be talking about accounts, support, or the house. But what they're really noticing is something else. Do these people feel steady, aligned, and safe to rely on when life gets hard?
And that's why this matters so much. In a transition like divorce, the client isn't only taking in the advice, they're taking in what it feels like to be supported by the firm. They're noticing whether the process feels calm or fragmented, whether the team feels coordinated or disconnected, and whether they feel supported or left carrying too much on their own.
And that's the part many firms often miss. They think the client is mostly looking at technical skill and performance, when the client is really picking up on something much more human.
They're noticing the follow-up, the pacing, the language, the preparation, all of it. And when someone is already overloaded, inconsistency lands hard. It adds pressure right at the moment the client most needs clarity and steadiness.
This is Advising Humans, where we look at the human side of advice and the moments that shape trust the most. In these shorter episodes, we pull out one practical idea advisors and firm leaders can use right away.
And this one is really about the business case, because divorce is not just a hard client conversation. It's a retention and trust moment. And one of the clearest firm-level advantages here is consistency.
That's really where your competitive advantage is.
It is. Because when a client's life is actively changing, they don't experience one advisor in isolation. They experience the whole system. And if every advisor approaches divorce differently, trust can weaken even when the technical work is solid.
Right. Because from the client's point of view, this is bigger than, did they run the right model? It's more like, do these people actually understand what this season is like? And can they guide me through it without adding more chaos?
And that's why shared language, a shared meeting flow, and a clearer way of supporting people matter so much. They reduce reinvention, improve preparation, help fewer details fall through the cracks, and create a client experience that feels steadier across the whole team.
Okay, so what's one simple standard a firm could implement right now?
Well, I'd start with one shared first meeting flow. That's probably the most useful place to begin. If the client is emotionally flooded, start with stabilize, simplify, sequence. If the client is steadier, then move into clarifying outcomes and trade-offs later. That one standard alone can change the tone of the experience right away.
Yeah, because that gives the team a common rhythm without making people sound scripted.
Exactly. And that distinction matters. You don't want robotic sameness. You want a consistent human standard. Shared framing, shared language, shared tools, but each advisor still sounds like themselves. That's how firms create repeatability without draining the humanity out of the meeting.
So what does success actually look like if a firm gets this right?
It looks like clients feeling steadier across the whole experience. Fewer missed details. Less advisor reinvention, better preparation. Less fragmentation between meetings. More trust in the relationship when life gets hard. And over time, that makes the firm more trusted, more memorable, and more valuable in the moments that really matter.
So better looks like fewer spinning decisions for the client and less variability for the team.
Exactly. And I think that's the big leadership takeaway. This is not just a better conversation. It's a better client experience by design. Once the team shares the same lens, the same language, and the same practical structure, the firm becomes less dependent on luck and much more capable of delivering calm, clarity, and trust at scale.
And that's where the moat is, right? Not just in being technically good, but in being consistently good when the relationship is most vulnerable.
Yes, transitions are where trust either deepens or weakens. And when a firm can help clients move through divorce with more steadiness, fewer mistakes, and a stronger sense of being understood, that starts to shape what clients believe the firm really is.
And that's why this matters beyond one meeting, because the way a firm shows up in a moment like this becomes part of the client's memory of the relationship.
It does. And that's also why consistency matters so much. Not because it sounds better internally, but because the client can actually feel the difference.
If this conversation made you think differently about what clients may really need from a firm during divorce, share it with another advisor or leader who cares about creating steadier, more consistent support when trust is most at stake.
And if you want a more consistent way for advisors to navigate divorce conversations across the team, the Divorce Transition Playbook Suite for Advisors gives you shared language, meeting flow, and practical tools to create a stronger client experience in moments like this.
Because in the moments that test trust most, clients are often deciding what kind of firm they're really with.
Thanks for listening to Advising Humans.
We'll see you next time.